Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts, and in today's video we're going to be making this baby gift bag in a more female attire as requested by Jean from Scotland. This has got a 5" by 3" box on the inside, and the box actually folds flat, so you can tuck this away until such time as you need it. Obviously don't need to make the fold flat box version, you can make a standard box, and I made a similar project before which has got a fixed box in it, and you can see the comparison of the two side by side. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to start by creating the template for the baby grow, and I'm starting with a piece of copier paper which is 8 inches by 9 inches. I'm going to have the paper in my scoreboard, and I'm just going to use a fine tip marker and my ruler just to indicate where the various points are to help us create the template. Along the 8-inch side, make your first mark at 1¼ inches. Move along, make your next mark at 2 5/8 of an inch. Move along, make a mark at 5 3/8 of an inch. Move along and make a mark at 6 3/4 of an inch. Rotate the paper 90 degrees so our marks are now on the left hand side. Make a mark at 3/4 and again at 2 3/4. Take your ruler, line your ruler up 1 1/8 down the left hand side. So my ruler's lined up with 1 1/8, and I'm going to make a mark, make sure it's horizontal, and make a mark at 3 inches. Like so. Place your ruler at 3/4 of an inch and make a mark at 7 inches. Like so. Rotate. So we've now got marks on the left hand side and at the bottom. Make your first mark at 2½ inches and your next mark at 5½ inches. Place your ruler in back against the 3/4 of an inch mark and make a mark at 2 inches, like so. Move your ruler down to 1 1/8 and make your pencil mark at 6 inches. And now remove your ruler, make your next mark at 6 1/4 and your final mark at 8 1/4. So you should have 4 along the top, 2 down each side and 2 at the bottom, and then 4 on the inner piece of the template. So we now want to create our leg and our neck shape. If you have circle dies, great. If not, you're going to have to find something circular. This circle die from the outer edge to the outer edge is 4 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to lay the edges up against the 2 pen marks at the bottom, on the bottom right hand corner. And you might need to play around with your circle dies until you find the one which gives you the arch look that you prefer. This is the biggest circle die I have, and if I lay that into between the 2 lines, I'll just mark it in pencil so you can see. This would give me a leg shape like so. If I were to use this one, I would get a leg shape which looked like this. So just play around and see what shape you actually prefer. I'm going to stick with the 4 1/8, so I'm going to create the same this side, and then I'm going to find a die which is going to fit between these two intersections here. And this one measures from outer edge to outer edge 2 3/4 inch. Now clearly you don't have to use my template shape. This is to give you a rough idea, and then you can change the proportions as you so wish. So now I'm going to go around and join up. I'm going to join the dots. So that's my basic template. I will now cut this out, and I will use this to trace around to create my front and my back sections of my bag. So with the template this size, my plan is that the box inside is going to be 5 inches across and can be 5 inches high. And my box is going to sit in the middle section here. It may be that A, depending on the cardstock you use for the front and back, and B, what you plan on putting in the box, we may then need to add an additional support or a tab between the back and the front just to stabilise that section. For the base of the box, and my box is 3 inches wide, you'll need a piece which is 3 by 5, and along the 3-inch side, score at 1.5. Fold and burnish the score line. For the side panels of the box, you'll need 2 pieces which are 4 by 5.5. Along the 5.5-inch side, score at 1/2, and along the 4-inch side, score at 1/2 and 3.5. You can adjust the sizes of your side panels accordingly. You want to score halfway across the width of your box. So we're going to score, in this instance, at 2 inches from top to bottom. Remove your piece from the scoreboard using your stylus and ruler. Exclude the glue tab, so I'm going to fold the glue tab under so there's no confusion. Measure up the width of 1/2 of your panel. So from this score line to the middle is 1.5 inches, half of the 3-inch width. So I'm going to measure up from the bottom to 1.5 inches, like so. Take your stylus and ruler, and we're going to score from the pencil mark down to the bottom right hand corner of the side panel and the bottom left hand corner of the side panel. So that's given us a piece which looks like this. Now, I haven't tried the theory on other widths, so I would try it with some photocopy paper first, but I don't see why it wouldn't work the same with any other sizes. Fold and burnish the score lines. Part of the long vertical is going to be a valley fold, and part of it will be a mountain fold. Manipulate and fold the diagonals as if they're valley folds. So I'm just putting my fingers in, working along the lines. We will be able to burnish these further. And push your piece together so that the bottom portion of the central score line pops up like this, becomes a mounting fold, and your piece is folding together like so. So our piece now looks like this, and just burnish the diagonals on both sides, and just go in and burnish the central portion. So this is now the side panel of our box. We're now going to do our cutting. Cut a slight wedge from the top edge. Remove the bottom left and right corners. Cut a wedge from the end to shape your glue tabs, like so, and then cut the base glue tab along the score line. So we're cutting this one long glue tab into two smaller glue tabs, and just cut a wedge from either end. I'm going to slot this little section into the video now, just because this is something that I've learned as I've gone along making the box. After you've cut up the central score line on the base, make sure that you cut quite a sharp angle from the inside sections of the glue tab here, because when the glue tab is then attached to the base, it just helps the box to fold in better, because it's just made sure that you've got as much card as possible away from the score lines. Our side panel looks like this. So you want to do that on both side pieces. Take your base piece, have your outer panel in this orientation, so your V is coming in like so. Add glue to the underside of the glue tab and adhere it to the base. Make sure that your central score lines line up. That's your key. And what will happen, the base will pop up like so, and the sides will pop in and collapse, and that's creating your fold. So fold your piece over whilst your glue's drying and just burnish it all down into place. This is what is making the sides collapse. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So again, make sure that your piece is in this V orientation. Add glue to the tabs. Line this up and make sure that your central score lines are aligned. For the two remaining sides of the box, I've got two pieces which are 5.5 by 5, and along the 5.5 inch side I'm going to score at 5. Fold and burnish. I'm going to cut a slight wedge from the ends of the glue tab. Take your front or your back panel and add glue to the glue tab of the base, and I'm going to add the glue tab for the base underneath on the outside. That will just reduce the bulk where the card is folding together. So I'm going to add the second panel on. Now I'm going to add glue onto the side glue tabs and fold and line up the sides. As you come to decorate your front and back panels, think about whether as part of your decoration you're going to have straps which are going to run between. On this box we've got a 3-inch wide section, and if your gift is such that you're going to use the full 3-inch widths, you need to imagine that one side is going to be here, one side is going to be here, and when you do your decoration, consider how the straps are going to come across. I started decorating my front panel, which is here, but now I've got to the stage where I've cut my top part, my bib, and I've got to think about how my back piece is going to secure to my front piece. I've decorated the front and attached it to my box, and before I finish the back and the strap mechanism, which is going to run, you'll open it from the back, I've folded my box flat, added glue, and then I'm just going to lay the back piece on top. So once that is secured, I can then open the bag out to its full width and then work on the strap mechanism across the top. Here's the finished bag. I've pleated some paper to create the sleeves and a faux skirt look, used a Ditsy embossing folder from Made to Surprise from Craft Stash to complete this look here, and I've used the filigree nesting dies from Craft Stash to create the look around the collar. The straps are secured behind the back of the front bib and behind the back of the back bib, and then the back bib, the back is very plain. The back bib is secured with some hook and loop dots, and that's how you access the bag. I would put a piece of cardstock in here with my message, so that's going to be hidden and that can be opened up. And overall, I'm really pleased with how the bag has come out. It can push the bottom up and push the sides up of the box, and the box folds flat, and then I can just keep that stored away somewhere until such time as I need it. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and until next time, thanks for watching.